Welcome to Geek Nerd Tech of BHL. Today, Star Wars makes it to virtual reality. Tesla has a new model, and Instagram's changing again. Let's go.
You are tuned in to Black Hollywood Live's Geek Nerd Tech.
The show we break down nerd culture, tech news from a black and brown geek perspective. I'm Joe Braswell, listening to Biz Marquee, circa 1986, 7, 8,
Man, I don't know.
1988. Anyway, I'm joined to the left by my man Achilles Sean. How you doing?
I'm good, man.
Yeah.
Very good. Just chilling, man.
Yep, it's time.
This record, man. What's your anecdote about this record?
I mean, the B-I-Z Marxism will make your toes tap. My anecdote about this was I was a huge Fat Boys guy, circa 1984, 85. Did the Fat Boys in a talent show, beatboxing and rapping.
Yep.
I rapped, my boys beatboxed. But when Biz Marquee came out with his form of beatboxing, it was so incredible because he was rapping and beatboxing at the same time. And that was like something that just blew my mind.
Exactly.
And so we all at the time want to do that. I want to introduce myself.
Yeah.
My name is Bismarck. I can't even
Make
do
the
it,
music with your mouth.
yeah. So Biz, and now he's found second life because he's on Yo Gabba Gabba. He's on that, like with the kids,
Yep.
still doing the same stuff. Biz has got to be a cool 10 years older than me, though, right? Maybe not.
Hey, man, Biz seems pretty elderly.
Biz doesn't be a cool 10 years older than me, so I mean, he was like in college then.
That's what I'm
like
saying.
in junior high or something. So
He seems kind of elderly.
and I'm not young. Anyway, we digress. Zach's in the booth on the ones and twos. We're in here. It's tech time. We got tech stories. We got pop culture stories. Lots to talk about. I'm really excited about the Star Wars virtual reality joint. We'll talk about that. And there's also, I forgot this mission open, but Michael Mann's trying to do a Heat prequel.
Let's go.
God, anyway.
Let's do it.
But first, let's get into our normal tech news. Looks like your friends at Instagram and Facebook, same diff, are changing things again. They have a new algorithm that basically will allow. Well, basically, what it does is record your pictures and videos and users' feeds based on their interests. And what this is, almost everything Facebook does or Instagram does is a tweak towards basically making more ad friendly and getting the advertisers. It's like it seems like it's been a slow thing. It's like, hey, we're social. Then it's like, how do we make money? Now they've turned the ball all the way around to just continue to find ways to make money. But people say this is going to be the death of organic social because everything's going to be so pointed and.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. You don't want, all your social media connection to be dictated. You want it to have some type of organic, some type of natural feel. And like once you start having like the revenue coming and the advertisers dictating your experience, it kind of waters it down and kind of loses the credibility. And so that's why a lot of younger folks will go to the next thing, and that's tends to be the trend with anything that becomes commercialized and becomes mainstream. And so I think Instagram with 400 million users, like it's inevitable that they have to scale the business, they have to make money off of it, but they also have to find a fine line, build a fine line in terms of how they keep the users happy in terms of what made them successful in the first place.
It's a great point. I think that I don't think Facebook cares. I don't mean that in an insidious way, but I mean, at a certain point, when you get so big, like Facebook is to a point where they're so big, they don't care what the kids are doing because they're trying to dominate worldwide. They're trying to figure out how to make all that money, which they're doing when they switch to mobile and other stuff. Really?
I think they do care what the kids are doing. Hence why they try to buy Snapchat. Hence why they're trying to do cooler things to attract more younger.
That's true. I guess what I'm saying by that is they're not worried about ruining the Facebook experience for the younger group folks. They are. I feel like this is my opinion. I feel like after you reach a certain tipping point of whatever how many billions they've got, it's just a matter of just keeping that where it is. And sometimes you can do that through innovation and keeping it fresh. But I don't know. Facebook is so mainstream and so ubiquitous now. I don't know that they want to like pivot to be the hottest, coolest thing. They just want to figure out how to keep the balls in the air.
I mean, I think obviously Instagram is owned by Facebook, but still Instagram has its own identity, has its own ecosystem within itself. And so I think Facebook can allow Facebook to be Facebook and Instagram to be Instagram. And I think that's the fine line, the happy medium, to be able to allow it to organically manifest itself the way it has since its inception.
Right.
And I mean, like, I personally don't want to hop on Instagram and have, my feed curated, or have things omitted, or have, have things that I don't even want to like look at, like a sponsored post I don't even want to look at. Like, I think that'll kind of ruin it, man. And so I hope that they consider that, because I think Instagram is probably it is the best social media platform that's out.
It is the best social media platform that's out, and we'll see if they, you would think they want to enhance that experience, but really they're going to probably change it, and we'll see if this allows room for something else. I mean, Snapchat's on the heels,
certainly,
right on its heels. So
yeah,
I don't know. Okay. Moving forward, Snapchat doesn't have the ability to what people love about Instagram is the archivability, to be able to just search through a feed and see all their photos and see all that stuff in an instant and tell that story instantly through photos. Okay, moving on. Ira Glass is from This American Life, one of the original podcast Gs. He became actually more of a radio G who turned into podcasting. But he did a talk at South by Southwest talking about the boom in podcast money. And obviously we've enjoyed all the podcast boom money. But the boom in money advertising, I mean, like, this is, ever since Serial a couple of years ago, advertisers are looking up because they see the kind of numbers you can do, and then companies like Midroll have come in and really smartly have figured out how to like aggregate all of the ads needs and place them in different podcasts that they're associated with, and also have upfronts like they do in
traditional
TV.
media.
Yeah, like in traditional media. So where you can, if you're a podcast guy, you can have all your money up front for the whole season,
and you're ready to rock.
Ready to rock. So that's really great. But I mean, the Hourglass talked about is up to $50 or $60 CPM, which is pretty good for a podcast. They also said that the numbers spending wise could hit $35 million in 2016. Some say as high as $50 million. That's a far cry from the $9 billion in television.
Yeah, it's like 0.006% or something.
But that's still a big chunk of money. I want a piece of that $50 million.
Yeah, it's a big chunk of money, and I think it speaks to the mediums that people are becoming more adapted to, in terms of, like, before on your iPhone you didn't have the option to be able to sift through podcasts. Now it's become more like everyday thing, and I think it'll even become more so in the next 3 to 5 years. And I really like, I think it was a good factoid that he spelled out in terms of like This American Life. It took him like over a year for him to gain 100 million users or 100 million downloads, and then with Serial, like, he was able to do that in 4 weeks. Yeah, it just shows like the incline and the progressiveness of how people are becoming more accustomed to using podcasts, and that's where clearly advertisers are like, whoa, this is where the audience is at. Right, let's spend some money. So
Obama's done like 2 podcasts already, and he's showing up on stuff, and so people recognize if you want to reach a certain audience, there's a very specific way to do that. And if the White House communication staff is as savvy as anything, so if they feel like they need to reach an audience by going to certain podcasts, then that's where you find people. So the advertisers have to follow suit.
Absolutely. It always fascinates me how a new medium can like just create economic opportunity for creatives and for brands. I love the fact that terrestrial radio is now like kind of like whatever, and people are more like, hey, I'm gonna do it myself and have my own radio station in my house, in my garage, and like speak to millions of people and make money off of it. That to me is dope. Yeah, that we've reached that part in our zeitgeist.
It's incredible, and I mean, they asked if they think if it's gonna burst, if this bubble's gonna burst, and he says of course it'll burst, but
every bubble bursts.
Yeah, but he's hoping not anytime soon. And I second that.
Right.
Because I got some podcasts to launch and shit. I'm trying to get some of that 50 million. Hopefully that 50 million goes up to 100 million next year. And then by the time it bursts,
we'll have like
a little bit of it. I'll be watching the burst in the rear view. No, I'm good. But yeah, so I look, as podcasters, I'm very happy to hear that. So, and the podcast, being in the podcast game for a minute, it's we're here riding the ride too. So it's good to know.
Absolutely.
Speaking of folks who ride the podcast wave and has been in it for a minute, my boy
Keven
Undergaro's got a new show. I mean, so if you're curious about celebrity boyfriends' midlife crisis, enjoy hearing stories about behind the scenes Hollywood, amused by old TV and movie references, then you'll love.
Where did that voice come from?
This is my I don't know, my announcer voice. Then you'll love the Tomorrow Show with Keven Undergaro. I can't. Join AfterBuzz creator Maria Menounos and Maria Menounos' fiance Keven Undergaro, along with AfterBuzzer co-hosts Roxy Strayer, Ashley Daniels, and others for all the insanity. Watch live Mondays and Thursday nights, 7 to 9 Pacific time on the tomorrowshow.com. That's the tomorrowshow.com. Subscribe or download for free on iTunes. Go to the tomorrowshow.com for more information. Kevin's been talking to me about this for a cool minute, man. He's been talking about this for a while, and I'm very happy to see him launch this thing. And Roxy and Ashley are great. I'm sure it is phenomenal. So check it out. And like I said, I'm gonna bully my way onto that show. So I'm telling you, Kevin, right now, I'm coming for you. I'm gonna be on that show. I'm gonna be on that thing. So look for the Tomorrow Show. It's good stuff. All right. Google now has so in this election year, a lot of the big stories have been always Citizens United and the campaign funding and transparency in campaign funding and where is it all coming from and who's spending what and the Koch brothers and blah blah blah. Well, Google now has a thing where you can see campaign data directly in search results, which is a kind of a cool thing. They're partnered with a political watchdog called OpenSecrets.org, and I think it enables you to just Google who's spending what and how and who's getting where stuff's coming from.
You just Google their name and the information will come up right underneath it. I think that's awesome. Like, because you kind of hit on it. You want transparency. You want to see like where these guys' allegiance is connected to, like if they're being bought out by lobbyists, by like where's the money coming from? Is it from individual donations or is it from PACs? You know what I'm saying? So I think having that just a part of your cachet of information to be able to determine who you should vote for, I think is great. It employs you to have a more clear and distinct vision as to where your political allegiance lies. Right. So
I think it's fantastic, and I want that transparency. I need it. I mean, we're kind of in a home stretch here.
Hillary. I mean, based on this resource, Hillary has made the most money. You know, she generated the most money. I thought
it was Bernie for a minute, but not based on this. Huh? Yeah. So it's like the Hill dog is pulling away in more ways than one. Actually,
I think she got it, man.
I think she does too. Yeah. Anyway, I digress. I should. By the way, this is unprompted. I've actually officially moved over from my man Bernie to Hillary.
Stop it.
I moved over.
Wow.
I love Bernie, but there's no buts. I love Bernie a lot. It's just,
how have you moved over?
Hillary won me over in that town hall, that last town hall.
I can't.
I'm telling you.
Let's move on.
In that last town hall, she won me over.
Let's move on.
She won me over, dog. I'm telling you. I'm still feeling the burn, but the Hill dog. All right, moving on. So this is interesting. So Lyft and GM has a new program. It's called the driver rental. It's like a driver rental program, and I don't understand exactly what's happening here. It's supposed to help you offer short-term car rentals to professional drivers. Some cases even for free. And basically, it helps them be able to find more qualified drivers, allegedly. But supposedly, ultimately, this is just to replace drivers with their driverless program.
Right?
Is that?
I mean, right? it's a weird thing to kind of grasp. But I think the initial rollout of it is kind of just a great brand partnership where, you know, Lyft is trying to get more drivers into their program. A lot of drivers will apply to be a part of the Lyft program, but because their car doesn't meet the right requirements and qualifications, they can't. So GM is like, well, you know what, we will assist you and collaborate with you on this, because in the future we want to be able to use, we see that in the future there will be driverless cars, and we want to be able to have Lyft as our collaborative brand to be able to use our vehicles. And so in the meantime, we will support you with vehicles just to get drivers more employed through to your brand. And so I think the play is to build the brand partnership so they can have the GM vehicle and the Lyft synergy, and then as that transitions, as technology improves, then there won't be any drivers in those vehicles, but they still will be GM vehicles that are Lyft drivers.
That's a power move by GM. That's a super power move. I mean, like,
it's kind of confusing, but
no, it's confusing at all. But ultimately, what it is GM is getting in the game.
They have to.
Yeah, and they're you know, this is another way for them to stay relevant, because they recognize that, you know, the Lyfts and Ubers are the new cabs. So if someone told GM, you know, I don't know, 70, 80, 100 years ago that if you can make all taxi cabs GM cars,
would you do it?
Yes, they would do it in a second. So to be able to have, you know, at least Ubers, I mean, at least Lyfts, you know, which is something. So it kind of takes away from you being able to ride in some kind of luxury whip, though. You got to ride a GM car, I guess, but Cadillac, I guess, but I guess it's cool. GM got some cars, I guess.
Hey, I'm not mad at it. I mean, what is your take in terms? What do you envision in terms of the driverless car? When does that land?
I think we're.
I mean, we've landed already, but where does it land? And
I think we're 10 years away from it being like, from it being a reality. I think that we are probably about 3 years away from us starting to see them actively on the road and people. I think because
we've already seen them.
No, but I think the thing is, this is the overall. Because you have each municipality, then you have states, then you have federal. For you to be able to catch up with the safety, you know, and the laws and the traffic laws and all the other stuff that go along with that, it just takes time to implement. You can't start throwing driverless cars on the road. If I'm a cop, I don't know what to do. You know, without any policies in place. What's the policy? If I'm in a driverless car and I'm having sex and a cop pulls me over, I'm like, I ain't driving. Like, what is it? So you have to figure out all these sort of laws that go along with it. If someone hits you in a driverless car, like, who's liable? You know, it means all this stuff. So I think that, like, I know they are around and they exist, but the fact that we see them whipping around, I think we're like, maybe not 10, but I don't know. Maybe legislatively, I think we're through another election cycle at least. Yeah, you know,
I definitely agree. So that's 8 to 10 years from now before we start to see them really on American streets.
But what's going to happen is you're going to see them it's going to start in municipalities, and you're going to see first. Obviously, you're going to see them in San Francisco first.
I mean, that's where we already see them.
Yeah, so they'll be driving San Francisco, and then you'll see Oakland, and, you know, San Jose, and then I'll probably spread down to Los Angeles. Well, not Los Angeles too big, but then they'll probably be in Minnesota, little pockets, little tech pockets. Boulder, Colorado, you start to see little tech pockets, and then it'll
it was one of the coolest things I've ever seen, though. Like driving on the Bay Bridge, looking over, and I see the dude in the passenger seat, and I don't see anyone in the driver's seat, but I see the steering wheel moving. I'm like, oh shit, it's a Google car.
Yeah,
that was a really cool moment. The fact that's really happening is just kind of dope, you know.
It is, but here's the thing for me, because I'm a scary cat. I'm scared. Like, I already don't like driving on the Bay Bridge in general. I'm driving on the Bay Bridge. I'm still thinking about the 89 earthquake. In an earthquake, I'm always looking like it's so high up. The fact that I'm in the passenger seat and I'm looking over and the car's like, I'm like, no. Hey, how do I know it's the Bay Bridge? How do I know you're not gonna anyway. I mean, yeah, this is me personally. I don't know if I'll be okay with that. Or worse, like when you're in some, like, it's the other thing. You know, what about weather conditions and windy? And I know they got it covered, but like it's raining. You know, visibility's low.
What they're saying is that
the sensor going to
the computer sensor, the computer bits and parts are more sophisticated or faster to make decisions than the human brain. But as it relates to a moral decision, it cannot do that yet.
Yeah, we talked about that.
But in terms of the mathematics of its assessment of the road and conditions, it does that faster than humans can.
Yeah, like if there's a cat crossing the street and a little kid crossing the street,
which one does it save?
Or which one does it save? Or if there's a truck coming one way that'll kill you, but a kid coming the other way, what do?
Right.
Does the computer just run over the kid?
It says fuck it.
You know,
kill everybody.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, no, this is they can't make those moral decisions. It can only make, you know, I don't know. And then also when you're whipping down those like windy mountain roads, like I'm just like in the passenger seat, and the computer's like, I got it. And you're like. I'm like, no, I don't know about that. I'm not, you know, we'll see. I don't know if that's going to happen for me.
When you sit on the 405, you're going to want it, though.
Oh, yeah, on the 405, great. On the 405, but not like whipping down some like mountainous road in the snow. And I'm like, you got this, Watson? You got this, Google? Siri. Anyway. Moving on, so Apple News, which is something I actually use a lot, is now trying to open its platform up to all publishers of all sizes. And I guess the main thing with this is that you know, Apple News is great, and I don't know if you use it at all, but I actually use it a lot. It's great. It's right there in your, you know, on your front page of your phone if you want to use it. You can check some things out. The problem that people are having with it is, I mean, they're open to like almost 100 publishers, but you know, it doesn't give you the internet. So there's the danger, especially for people on the right wing who think that like, oh, Apple's just pumping us full of liberal jargon. You know, like I don't want to read the Washington Post. I want to read the Wall Street Journal. I don't want my news from, you know, CNN. I want my news from Fox News. So, and then beyond that, there's other smaller ones like the Drudge Report or like whatever, like BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed's not small, but just other stuff that people want to get their news from. And the question is, what Apple's saying is they're going to open up to everyone. I mean, which seems like defeats the purpose. But what do you think of this?
Why do you say it defeats the purpose?
Well, I don't say it defeats the purpose. I think that like the thing about Apple News that I like is it does a thing where it it gives me the headlines. It gives me all what I want to need. It's like America's front page.
Yeah, but based on your interests and likes, like
right.
before you search for articles, it's already priming you.
That's true.
It's asking you like, what are you interested in?
That's
sports, blah blah blah. So you're giving it, you know,
right.
what it needs to recommend.
So I mean, it's kind of like the you know, it's curating for you. So I may get articles from Bill Simmons' new website, The Ringer, which is relatively small, as opposed to just getting ESPN.
Right.
You know, so I guess that's okay. I don't know.
I mean, I think they have to be in this space. They have to compete against the Flipboards and the Facebooks of the world because those guys, especially Facebook, they're trying to dominate with that.
Yeah.
And like there's huge economic opportunity, and Apple wants to be, you know, a front runner in every category. And so I mean, why not in news? They're the front runner in music. They're the front runner in smartphones. They're the front runner in computers, like across the board. So I mean, I think that's smart. Like you're on your phone all the time. Why not control it through an Apple app versus a Flipboard versus Facebook?
No, I agree. So, I guess I'm just having trouble in general. This is more of a larger question about how we consume news in news media. Whether it's, you know, television programs or, you know, 24-hour cable news or online news. I just feel like we're in a world now where everyone can sort of find their own news. Like you could,
and what's wrong with that?
Well, it's just something about like I'm just using the Fox News as an example. Like you can watch Fox News every day and not know, you know, like the truth. What do you mean?
Yeah, but I mean,
but
based on that, like shit. Before a smartphone, all you had was Fox News. All you had was the TV. All you had was the newspaper. Now, because we have all this choice, you could actually do the research and investigate and see what writing style or what source, you know, speaks your language.
I mean, you could. I mean, I just listened to this podcast with Dan Pfeiffer and John Favreau, the former White House speechwriter and communications director, and they're talking about the biggest change they've seen in all this stuff is just the Twitterification of news. Difference between like people can't tell the difference between like actual news and news stories and reporting versus like punditry and editorial. And headlines don't help that. People now don't have time. It used to be like they, you know, would just get their news from certain places. Now people just read headlines. They read headlines and they don't even click on them anymore. So the headlines are super sensationalized. You know, Bernie Sanders, you know, whatever. Like that's your news, or the crawl. And so I guess what I'm saying is I'm worried about a world where you're just reading headlines on your phone and headlines that you want specifically for yourself.
I don't think that's how users consume information. I think because everything is so fast and because we want to know everything, yeah, some of it is bite-sized and some of it is quick. But I think if you're really interested in something, you're going to do due diligence and research it. You're going to Google it, you're going to Wikipedia it, you're going to do all sorts of, you're going to try to find it from multiple sources, not just one source.
I mean, I guess you're right. So, I guess if you're seeking out the news on your phone anyway, then you're already ahead of the game. You're already wanting to find stuff out. So I hear you.
I mean, shit, for me, like if there's something I'm really interested in, I'm doing a deep dive. I'm going to YouTube. I'm gonna see all the videos about it. I'm gonna read multiple articles about it. I'm gonna go on the Twitter page. Might find the Facebook and Instagram. I'm gonna do everything.
Yeah, I do. So I'm a deep diver too. So I guess I like having all your fingertips is good. Okay, so let's move into this Apple battle. There's a new thing. The U.S. government's granted Apple a patent for a new type of encryption. I guess what they're trying to do, they're actually, Apple is trying to do a thing that makes the phone even harder to crack. Is this?
Yes.
Yeah. So
it's ironic because we've had this long dialogue about the government trying to get Apple to kind of like loosen up their encryption infrastructure, and how Apple's like, nah, buddy, we're gonna beef it up, we're gonna make it even stronger, and we're gonna do it so that it has this reverse engineering where it's almost impossible for someone to hack a locked phone. And I think it's like so ballsy, like, nah, government. And it's weird, like they can go to one part of the government to get a patent for the new technology, but then another part of the government's like, yo, like, reduce the security on this. Like it's funny, like how that, I guess, how the dialogue is shifting now. But I think that Apple wants to be able to prevent they want to prevent piracy of content, and they also want to establish more privacy for the content that you might create in your IP, the stuff that you are capturing on your phone. So I think it's good, because the more sophisticated hackers become, the more of a greater threat our information is to widespread use. So.
Right, I agree, and I'm with Apple 1,000% on this. I feel like that that's their job to keep our information safe. And it's a slippery slope, as Tim Cook has said, as everyone said, it's a slippery slope, allowing backdoors into any of this stuff. I mean, like Mark Zuckerberg agrees, the Google folks agree, everyone agrees except for punk ass Bill Gates, who's just always trying to stick it to Apple. But so I don't know. I'm totally fine with this. Moving on. This is interesting. Wikipedia is trying to. Wikipedia editors are trying to really get in here and trying to figure out how they can keep facts straight in Wikipedia. I guess what I'm saying is because Wikipedia is open and can be edited by anyone. Like when you have, I guess the example here is Judge Garland, who's up for Supreme Court, who's the new Supreme Court nominee. People want to know more about who he is and what's his background and whatnot, and then people, I guess Republicans or conservatives are saying like he's super liberal, he's this, that, and the other, and other folks are trying to say whatever it is. And if everyone's putting all this information in there, how do people know the truth? And so, I think
that's the gift and the curse of Wikipedia. That it's the gift is that it's one of the best crowdsourced platforms that we have.
Right.
The curse is that the accuracy of the information that is sourced, is up for debate. So I think, and that's what this conversation piece is about. It's like, how do you substantiate things that you write on Wikipedia if you don't have a source to back it up, if you don't have evidence to back it up? Is it just opinion? Is it just you creating it? Is it mythology? So I think the argument is like, how do you, especially when you're dealing with public figures or even historical events, like how do you determine what is accurate or not? And especially when you Google something, typically in the first 3 search results, Wikipedia is going to be up there. So it's like, is that the thing that is it's almost back to your other point on the other topic. Like, how do you, if you're just reading one thing, if that's all you see, and you're basing your opinion off of that, like you might be misinformed. You might take that information and it might be completely wrong. And that's the argument. Like, is Wikipedia accurate or is it inaccurate?
Right. And
should it be crowdsourced still, or should it be someone that is an established writer or researcher.
Yeah, it's just tricky. Or the editors and who the editors, man. It's because the stakes are high for something like this. When people are trying to figure out, like, you know, Obama puts this is a very specific example, but like, you know, he puts my man up, Judge Garland up, and as a candidate, people are trying to figure out, well, he's obviously Obama put him up. He's a liberal, but he's kind of actually more of a centrist, and he's more of a good judge, and that's why he put him up. And Republicans like him, and they've worked with him personally. But in efforts to sort of discredit him, now people can get on him like, you know how liberal he, like, and trying to blow his stuff up. And it feels like the stakes are high to have the information right. But again, Wikipedia should not be that source, right? Wikipedia should not be your sole source for information.
It shouldn't, even though I feel most times it's a great source.
Yeah, I do too. I agree.
But it should be a source that is used in collaboration with other sources. That's what I propose. Like, don't just use that as your only source. And hey, I know something now. Yeah. I went to Wikipedia.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great point. All right, this is an interesting study for your boy Donald Trump. It's just that his new studies talked about 51% of our billion-dollar startups.
this is very ironic.
are founded by immigrants.
Right.
So I mean, and they're immigrants, they're Americans. They want to make America great again. They want to keep America. But like, the point is that, you know, this is kind of what the fabric of what our country's built on. We are the ultimate, you know, to the fact that immigrants coming in, making good, doing things, and this is what it is. And this whole, you know, all this rhetoric now of like, let's keep them all out, is just, I don't know. I think this is just ironic.
No, that's exactly what it is. It's very ironic that you have this type of languaging in the political sphere, but when you actually take a look under, you know, the business hood of this country, especially in the technology sector, like, you see that, as you say, 51% of the new billion-dollar companies are fronted or established by people that were never born here.
Right.
And not just that, 70% of the administrative and executive divisions of those companies are employees that are also immigrants. And so they're generating hundreds of jobs per company. I think it's like 45 companies that are killing it, that are owned or founded by an immigrant. They employ, like I said, 700 to 800 people. They're bringing prestige and wealth to the country. Like, I think it changes the dialogue and conversation about immigration. Yeah. I think we have to take a deeper analysis of it and how we, what policies we build around it, you know? So,
yeah. I agree 10,000%. I think this is just sad. I would love to see someone just flash this, you know, someone use this stat in the next Donald Trump rally, because I think it's just interesting. Moving forward, the Tesla Model 3 is coming. I was out yesterday and I saw a Model 3.
You saw the weapon?
I saw one whipped out there. This is some guy who was really proud of himself. He had one of those, like, he had some crazy, like, gyro, some space age gyro sort of skateboard joint. And he was like zipping around on that thing and like clicking his.
Stop it!
I swear to God, he was like showing off in Larchmont. Like, he clicked this thing and the door went up and he's like, zzz. I'm like, we see you, man. Shit. Like, we see you. You got the cool whip. You got the little gyro.
He was just extra out.
He was extras on it. I don't know. He's on the phone. I don't know. Maybe he was Elon Musk's brother or something. But he was definitely out there showing off. Like, anyway, but it looks great. I mean, it's I don't know what to say. I mean, it looks dope.
Wait, well, you saw the SUV or you saw the
whatever one is the one with the
SUV?
Yeah, the SUV with the things that go up. Yeah, that's what I saw.
Because the new joint, which is about 35K.
Yeah, the smaller the
I think it's a sedan or whatever.
Yeah,
that's the joint I think is really going to change the game, because it's going to compete against the I think it's the Chevy Bolt
and the Prius.
The Prius is going to compete against any traditional automaker that's trying to get into this space. Like, I think they have to expand Tesla. They have to be able to create a product that the average consumer can buy. And this 35K model that can go 200 miles on one charge, I think is going to be a change to gamer.
Right.
And if it looks fresh as the other models, the S and the what is the SUV called?
Shoot, I don't even know what the
If it looks as fresh as those two, I think it's going to be amazing. Like, we're going to see them everywhere,
and they do. I don't know. I agree. I'm very, very excited about that.
You would get one?
Oh yeah. Well, actually, I would hope that I can afford
The S.
the 6-figure joint. But if I can't afford the 6-figure joint, I would love to have the $35,000 joint.
Yes, sir.
I'm not even mad at it at all.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm not to think about this. I'm pretty pro Tesla. I would like to see more kits in those things. I like to see them more. People put more. I like to see more aftermarket stuff in those. I like to see one like really souped out, but I haven't seen that. Like just even visually, because they look beautiful now. But I'm just curious as to something else. All right. Let's go to these last couple stories. There's a new Star Wars. I'm gonna skip the Uber one.
Okay.
There's a new Star Wars game coming out, and it's a virtual reality joint, and it's called The Trials of Tatooine. And there's a trailer. It's like a first-person game, interactive YouTube experience. You're defending. You're defending R2. I saw the trailer for this thing, and it looks ridiculous.
ILM, let's go.
I mean, it looks ridiculous. And now, when we were, name drop, when we were up at ILM,
why do you use that voice?
when we did our tours of ILM, we did see they have this crazy virtual world thing they have there where they can have a green screen and they'll put you in on any planet and interact you with any everyone else, and it's kind of really dope, the technology they had. So it feels like that's what they're using here,
right,
to be able to use that or existing technology they have and use that for a game. And I think that's it's amazing.
Totally amazing. Like I said earlier, man, I'm starting to fall in love with just researching how new mediums come to play and just change the whole dynamic of how we communicate and how we consume information. And I think with the VR stuff, we talk about it all the time on the show, it's coming more and more and more relevant. And I think once it's like marketed for the average consumer, this type of content is going to be so dope, like to be able to say, hey, I'm in Star Wars, and I'm playing, I'm a Jedi and I'm battling, and it looks real as fuck, like that. That's going to be really, really crazy.
Yeah, the crazy thing about it is not so much that you're in this immersive world, which is already crazy, but how real it looks.
Yeah,
like that screenshot you see on screen of the Millennium Falcon, that sunset. Yeah, like that is insane.
Right.
And I think about you just being, having grown up with the whole Star Wars experience. Every time a Star Wars game would come out, even the first old school vector graphics one that came out in like 1980, like I just remember the feeling of loving that immersive feeling, even back in 1980. And every time they would come out with a new game, I just wanted to be in the world. Even all these new Lucasfilm games that came out on the Xbox, and up to this latest. The one that just came out, Battlefront, which I have and returned, by the way. But I still like the immersive while you're in the world. But this looks insane.
Yeah, man.
Here's the thing about the virtual reality joints. Here's what I don't understand. 2 years ago, I saw the Oculus Rift, and I saw that big rig they had where you're like running in place on the big dome, and you're in the room and running around. Like, do you just sit in your couch and just Stevie Wonder out? Man, like, how does it work? I mean,
that's exactly what you do.
But are you running around your living room, like picking up stuff, running into the chairs? That's the part. But I guess it's just really about your head, right? It's not about like actually the sensation. Because I think the next evolution will be the fully sensation of walking around.
Man,
I don't know how you could do that.
I mean, they're gonna figure it out. They're gonna figure it out.
I don't. Yeah, it's quite amazing.
I wish I could say I'm going to figure it out. Yeah, I'm not in that space.
Well, people, I saw this thing on Bill Maher where he was making fun of it, and it is kind of silly when you see a room full of people with the VR helmets on, like looking around. And it's the future. It feels like the ultimate disconnect. Though.
I remember my grandfather would say it feels weird for all these young kids to put on headphones. Oh. My grandpa used to say that. Like, why you got the headphones on? You're closing yourself up from the world.
Oh, yeah. Well, your grandpa was wrong, but yeah, I see that. Yeah, I see that.
So what's the difference?
Yeah, it's true. So what's next? Are our kids? Is your son gonna have like a full helmet, walking around? Son, do your homework. He's like, I can't hear you. I'm on Mars. I don't know. That's
I am doing my homework.
Yeah, exactly. All right. This next story is something I'm very, very, very excited about. I've been like kind of wanting this. Looks like Michael Mann is working on a prequel to Heat. He's working on it, and he may turn it into a movie. You know, my guess is it's probably going to end up as some sort of HBO limited series TV show, as everything does. But Michael Mann, who doesn't, you know, he did the one HBO series, Luck, which got canceled, which was good. But this, man, I mean, Heat's one of my all-time favorites. He's probably my top 5 all time.
Director or writer?
Heat the movie is one of my all-time favorite movies.
He is dope.
Yeah.
I mean, but he has some classics in his
Michael Mann.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I would say everything he has is he only has a couple stinkers. Even the stinkers
his last one was a stinker.
Black Hat.
That definitely.
Yeah. Although I liked it.
I mean, it was cool, but it wasn't classic.
No, it wasn't classic. It wasn't. It's just, you know, Chris Helmsworth. I don't know, but it was. It was intriguing. I can watch Michael Mann stuff, but like Ali was
killer.
Was a killer, but also not his best. I don't think.
I love Ali.
Again, everything in that movie is amazing. Will Smith's amazing. Process is amazing, but like Jamie Foxx is amazing. It's an amazing movie, but it didn't quite land for me. But
I don't think that's his fault.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay, I'll take that. What's this other joint that no one liked that I like? Oh, the most underrated Michael Mann movie that people hate.
It's the other Will Smith movie.
Which one?
When he's a superhero.
Oh, Wait,
he's a superhero.
Oh, that's not him. That's not Michael Mann.
Yes, it is.
No,
you want to bet?
I bet you $10,000. You talking about? What, you talking about Hancock?
Yes.
No,
you want to bet?
That's Peter Berg, sir.
Okay, look it up right now. Look it up.
Hancock?
Look it up.
We have time. This is
man. And if I'm wrong, you know, I'll take you out to lunch.
I'm pretty sure it's Peter Berg, and I'll take the lunch.
I'm about to come over.
This makes riveting radio. Actually, Zach, can you look it up for me? Like, who directed Hancock? And then when you say it's Peter Berg, can you look up the menu for the spot that I want to take? I want to go to lunch. I already know the answer to this one, but back to Michael Mann. Miami Vice.
Oh, that was terrible.
I loved. Oh.
That was Peter Berg.
Oh, that's interesting.
Is Michael Mann a writer on that movie?
No, actually, not a lot of people know this. Vince Gilligan did
most
of the writing on Hancock.
I didn't know that.
Vincent NGO. I apologize, I don't know how to pronounce that, but he is also listed as a writer.
Okay.
So, it was Michael Mann a producer just to help him out? I'm trying to give him everything else. No, all right, fair enough.
It's all good.
It's all good.
But you say you love Miami Vice.
I love Miami Vice. That's a good. That's an underrated heater, man. That movie I watched. That's a rewatchable. It's got some stuff. The Cuba stuff is whatever, but
Michael Mann is listed.
Thank you. I knew something. I knew he was connected to something with Hancock.
Okay, well, Michael Mann's okay. Well, I'll give you.
I'll buy you appetizer.
Okay.
He also reportedly played executive.
Oh, he's in the movie as an actor.
As an actor, okay.
Okay, well then there you go.
Man, come on, I knew something.
I knew something had to be right too, because you're usually not wrong about stuff. But I just knew Peter Berg did that one. Anyway, I like Miami Vice the show, and I like Miami Vice the movie. I thought they did a good job on that one. I think that's an underrated film. When's the last time you seen it?
Probably when it came out.
Yeah, no, it's crazily rewatchable. Like, get the Blu-ray. I'm telling you, it's insanely rewatchable. It's good. Anyway, didn't really play well in the movies, but I think it plays well at home, especially on cable. When this is on, I watch it all the time.
Collateral, thumbs up.
Oh, I mean, look, Manhunter,
thumbs up.
Last of the Mohicans.
Yeah.
Last of the Mohicans. Okay. Thief, which is a James Caan joint from early days, and then you go into just Murderer's Row of like Heat.
That's
the
another
Insider.
The Insider.
I mean, he's got Heat rocks left and right. All right, let's get out of here. I think we're good.
Yeah,
we can get out of here on that one.
Yes, sir.
Anything else you got?
Nah, man. I think we covered a lot today.
Okay. Good. Well, that's all I got. Let's check out the Tomorrow Show again with Keven Undergaro. Where can the kids find you?
Man, they can find me on Instagram and Twitter at AkiliShine, AKILISHINE.
And you can find me on Twitter, Instagram at Joe K. Braswell. Again, not Periscope. I'm giving the anti-Periscope shout-outs. And you can find me here at the sister network of BHL AfterBuzz doing Bates Motel and Blacklist. Thank you very much for listening and watching. We will see you very soon. Bye.
From executives Keven Undergaro, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio. Instagram me @KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in. The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.